Hello YouTube and welcome to the Nerd Zone. And this very first video ever posted on this brand spanking new Nerd channel. This is actually my second channel. My first one is more orientated towards military stuff, military history and things of that nature. And the people subscribing to that channel, they obviously share my interest in those topics. So to not bother them with my other interests, such as science fiction and fantasy, Conan the Barbarian, Star Trek, Star Wars, what have you, I decided to make this second channel, the Nerd Zone. So here we are, the very first video ever posted for this channel, and let's get on with it. And to kick things off, I figured I would start off with a review of the first season of Ahsoka, the latest Star Wars TV show. And I'll be honest, the show had its ups and downs, as is usually the case in this day and age when Disney is in charge of Star Wars. Me personally, unfortunately, most of the show I felt was a bit of a swing and a miss. It had its moments, it certainly did, but overall I think it missed the mark, unfortunately. And perhaps the biggest issue, as I see it, is it's a bit unclear what it's all about, and who it is about. Is it about Ahsoka? Or because it doesn't really feel like it's about Ahsoka. It almost feels like another season of Rebels, and uh, and in that context, it's a story arc centered more on Sabine Wren rather than Ahsoka Tano, which is rather weird since the show is called Ahsoka, right? I mean, you have the characters from Rebels doing their thing, fighting the bad guys that you see in Rebels, and I don't know where you have Sabine getting force powers. Sabine is the one searching for Ezra, and it's all about Sabine doing various stuff, right? She doesn't show up to receive her accolades, and she is fighting assassin droids. She is the one that confronts Baylan Skoll and is forced to make a tough decision on what to do, rescue Ahsoka or tag along to find Ezra and stuff like that. And I mean, it's called Ahsoka, but it is Sabine that is the driving force. Her actions and her decisions is what propel the plot forward. And truth be told, Sabine is the main hero in a show called Ahsoka. And I just find that very strange, to be honest. So, all that said, though, I think the actress chosen for to play Sabine, spot on. She does a great job in portraying Sabine. She looks the part and she acts the part. Uh, so, good job on a casting director for finding this woman playing Sabine. Absolutely spot on. It's just that her role in the show itself is way bigger than, you expect from a show that's supposedly supposed to focus on Ahsoka Tano. And I feel it's a missed opportunity. It really is. Because when I first saw the announcement that they were going to make a show based on Ahsoka Tano, I mean, I thought it would focus on Ahsoka and not the crew that we saw in Rebels. Even, I mean, sure, I expected them to be featured in the show as a fan service, but we would follow Ahsoka Tano mainly on new adventures, right? And with new bad guys, not old bad guys that we've already seen. And, the hope was that it would be an interesting plot line and that we would get all these fresh new locations. And I was hoping for Ahsoka to do her own thing and fight new enemies and explore new locations in the galaxy. Not being a side character next to the Rebels crew. And certainly not being the sidekick to Sabine Wren in a show called Ahsoka. I can't get my head around that decision. It makes no sense. So it really is a missed opportunity since they took the decision to revisit Rebels, reuse Rebels, and make this a live action show continuing the Rebels storyline. I don't get it. Then they should have called it something along the lines of Rebels, the next era, whatever. I don't know. But with a show that was called Ahsoka, I really thought that the focus would be on Ahsoka Tano. We would follow her, we would see her evolve as a character, and, have flashbacks to the Clone Wars like we've seen in the show. That would have been awesome, bringing Anakin back in these flashbacks, maybe nightmares and stuff like that, seeing Ahsoka Tano suffering from PTSD or whatever. That would have been really interesting instead of what we got, this strange continuation of Rebels. And I mean, it just feels like poorly written fan fiction from start to finish. Uh, and I don't get it why people think this is good writing or a good show. Because it feels like fan fiction through and through. I mean, first thing that comes to mind obviously are the hyperspace space whales. I mean, Jesus Christ, what were they smoking when they came up with that idea? Really? Animals, whales in space, traveling faster than hyperspace technology that's been evolving for 10,000 years? What? And then they land inside the mouth of the thing? What? What? It, uh, I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. Oh, if that is the kind of stupid bullshit that a 10-year-old comes up with. And here they make that into an actual TV show, spending millions of dollars bringing all of that to life. I'm quite frankly amazed that someone, or apparently a lot of people at Disney thought this was a great idea. And then you have the magic, the green magic stuff. I mean, when it popped up in Clone Wars and the computer animated TV shows, I mean, okay, sure, because those were kind of aimed towards kids, and not live action, so not really 100% canon. So I I let it slide when I watched those shows, but now they brought it into the live action format. And no, magic. Star Wars has magic, established magic. The Force. It's what it is, the thing that makes Jedi exceptional. And it is what defines the fantasy aspect of the Star Wars universe, the Force. And here you have people just randomly throwing in another magic system just because, they want to spice things up or whatever. And spicing things up with dumb new sets of magic, that's what you do when you write fan fiction and when you're 14 years old, right? You think you can improve on the established setting by adding your own stuff to it. And I mean, the magic in Ahsoka, I hate it. I really do hate it. It doesn't belong in Star Wars, if you ask me. Star Wars has its established magic system, the Force, and bringing in other stuff just so you can create your bad guys, so you can build your world within Star Wars. That's just the worst kind of fan fiction there is. And, it ruins the setting as a whole because now the Force is not as special as it used to be, right? So the Jedi, they have telekinesis. That's their thing, and they can sense the future. What the hell is that compared to creating a sword out of thin air, or, creating zombie armies? Or when a guy is severed in half, you magically create legs out of thin air. I mean, the Jedi are... There's nothing special about the Jedi all of a sudden, right? Because the Force is powerless. It's useless compared to the magic of the Night Sisters. Oh, it's so goddamn stupid. They ruin the entire setting by making this canon in a live action setting. And then you have the stormtroopers. They look badass, by the way. I mean, when I first saw them, I mean, they looked like they had seen 15 wars, and like this was the all the crappy stormtroopers, they had died, and what Thrawn had left was the elite proper troops, and they looked badass. But as soon as they were sent in combat, they behaved like ordinary stormtroopers. They're cannon fodder. They're just there to be killed by the heroes without being an actual threat. I guess stormtroopers will be stormtroopers. And then you add the fight choreography. Yes, it's a TV show, and TV shows rarely have the kind of fight scenes that you enjoy from a proper movie. But this is Disney, this is Star Wars. They have the cash to make TV shows as good as any movie. So the fight choreography should be better than what we got. I'm sorry, the lightsaber fights in Ahsoka, they're not good. They're just not what you expect. Rosario Dawson, I think she does a good job in her fight scenes, but everything else, it's just underwhelming and unimpressive, sadly, including Baylan Skoll's scenes. I like the character, but the fight sequences involving him are not good, to be honest. And then the map. Oh God, the map. Another map leading the heroes across the galaxy to find a person. Uh, It's like, where have I seen that before? Was it in Star Wars? I mean, come on. That was a horrible idea for episode 7. And you know what? It still is a horrible idea in Ahsoka. Uh, yeah. Yeah, moving on. Idiot idea. Oh. Moving on to Anakin, which I thought was, to be honest, some of the highlights in the show. The scenes with Anakin. I think they used Hayden in a very smart way. And, you know, in Obi-Wan and in this show Ahsoka, Hayden is doing justice to the character of Anakin 10 times more than what he did in the prequel trilogy, to be honest. He's really doing Anakin justice, I feel, in the scenes he's been given in these TV shows. So both the flashbacks to the Clone Wars and the hologram sequences and all of that, I think it was really nice to see Anakin, um, and also the way he was portrayed. That was really nicely done by the show, I have to admit. The one thing that was a bit weird was the lesson he was giving Ahsoka, that, you know, she was trained to fight and survive, and that is how she did not drown. I mean, I don't know. It was, the whole lesson was a bit unclear, if you ask me. But beyond that, yeah, it was really nice seeing Anakin again, and I think they used him in a well thought out way to suit the show and fit into the storyline. And then there was Thrawn. Now I know Lars Mikkelsen played Thrawn in Rebels, and his voice has become iconic and synonymous with the character of Thrawn because of this. But god damn it, the actor was the wrong choice to play Thrawn. I'm sorry, Lars. You know, as a Swede, I'm from Sweden. He's from Denmark. I'm all for Scandinavians conquering Hollywood, but this was not the right guy to play Thrawn in a live action situation. I don't think he had the face for it, the jawline and what have you, the shoulder. I mean, Thrawn rocking the dad bod, that just felt awkward and wrong. That's not the Thrawn I have in my mind, at least. He wouldn't just let go and go, oh, well, I'm gonna eat donuts for 10 years. Uh, nah, nah, that was a bad call to have Lars play Thrawn in the live action show. And I also don't think they really did him justice in the way he was portrayed in the show. Uh, I mean, he's supposed to be a master strategist and tactician, and also value competence among his officers. And he promotes people who gets the job done. And yet, when he sends his stormtroopers into combat, they behave like mindless drones and are just incompetent at what they do. Thrawn doesn't guide them in any way that proves he is a tactician, and obviously the stormtrooper sergeants in charge uh, of the fights going up against Ezra and Sabine and what have you, they're they have no clue what to do either, because they're just, as usual, rushing in, trying to kill the enemy by beating them to death with their blasters, more or less, instead of using blasters to fire at a distance. So it would have been nice to have to see the stormtroopers, a different type of stormtrooper, a different type of leadership, with Thrawn in charge, and even Thrawn being able to look at the holographic map and give prudent orders to the troops on the front line on how to adapt to the enemy and stuff like that. Never happens, doesn't happen, and it's the same old. You have stupid Imperial officers, stupid Imperial troopers, and the heroes just smash through everything. And yeah, it same old, and we don't see Thrawn being a military genius at all. And these stormtroopers who looked so cool, I mean, there's nothing there that shows us that Thrawn promotes competent people into positions of command at all. So again, a missed opportunity, and they did not do Thrawn justice, or they did not do his officers justice as well. But now the absolute highlight of the show, the bad guy that we all truly deserved. After Kylo Ren and Snoke and I don't know who else, the Inquisitors of Obi-Wan, these really poorly written, poorly acted bad guys that have been so uninteresting. Here we have finally a bad guy that draws us in, that gets us interested, and we want to know why he's doing what he's doing, and we want to learn why he's made these decisions, what made him choose this path in life. And I'm obviously talking about Baylan Skoll, this wonderful bad guy that we have been waiting for so long, basically ever since we first saw Darth Maul. And here we have a bad guy that is up to the task to provide a true challenge to our heroes, and we, the audience, we are invested in his struggles and his goals. I mean, when we listen to him speak, when he talks about Anakin, when he talks about the Jedi Order and all of that, we get invested. We want to learn more. It's like when he says he doesn't miss the Jedi Order, but he misses the idea of the Jedi Order. I mean, brilliant writing and very well acted. Sadly, as we all know, the actor passed away, so what will happen in season 2, who knows? But unfortunately, this character may or may not return if there is a season 2. But hands down, Baylan Skoll is the one takeaway from this show that is the true highlight, and a proper Star Wars bad guy. A proper bad guy, no matter what setting, show, or movie. It's a bad guy where we want to know more. We want to know why he's doing things, and we might even see things from his perspective that okay, yeah, we understand why he has done some drastic stuff, and there's some logic to his choices and stuff like that. And yeah, very intriguing character, and I loved every moment with him on the scene. Besides maybe some of the fight scenes, like I said in the beginning of the video. Yeah, so unfortunately, Ray Stevenson passed away, like I said. an actor that I have very much appreciated ever since I saw him in Rome. I mean, Titus Pullo, what a character and what a portrayal of the of a murdering madman. But yeah, sadly, Ray Stevenson is no longer with us, and he went out with a bang. What a performance! What a character he brought to life here in Ahsoka. I am a huge fan of Baylan Skoll, and I would have loved to find out more about him, his motivations, and what his relationship with Anakin, with Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and so forth was. Would have been really nice to have seen all of that play out in a season 2. Sadly, that won't happen, not with Ray Stevenson at least, maybe some other actor, but I doubt anyone can fill these shoes, to be honest. And that's all I have for you for this video, this very first video posted to my new channel here, the Nerd Zone. More stuff like this will pop up on this channel. Probably do reviews for movies and what have you. Go over settings and battles we've seen in science fiction and fantasy, and I don't know where I'm gonna go with it, to be honest, but this channel will focus a lot on the science fiction movies, television shows, fantasy, tabletop settings, Warhammer 40K and stuff like that, all that nice, good, juicy stuff that we all love in the realm of the nerd. And so yeah, stick around. I'm gonna have a lot of fun making videos, and if you happen to enjoy military stuff, head on over to my other channel, Scruffy Tales. I'm thinking about renaming it to Scruffy Tales The War Zone, just to separate these two channels even more. But yeah, that's it. Have a good one. I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Until then, may the force be with you.